Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I am a Western astrologer and twin flame channel. And this is a video concerning the Cancer Capricorn eclipse cycle that opened up last year for twin flames, and that moves into 2020. If you are a twin flame and you're listening to this and you know you'd like to book a reading because there have just been a lot of changes for you and or your twin, feel free to shoot me an email at chrysalismoon@gmail.com. We'll have a look at your chart, their chart, and your union chart to see what's going on and what you're both meant to be learning throughout this cycle to facilitate the two of you moving toward the soul work that you're meant to do on earth at this time. My email, chrysalismoon@gmail.com, is spelled KRYSALISMOON @gmail.com. You'll get an autoresponder that explains how to book. But then if you've already sent me, email details about you and your situation, know that I read every single email word for word, and that I will respond to you and to your questions individually and reach out personally just to see if you'd like to book a reading and if you have any questions. If you haven't already, please take a look at the general video for the Capricorn Cancer eclipse cycle that I made, entitled The Capricorn Cancer Eclipses Divine Prep for 2020 Must Watch. It explains a lot of the background for the energy that we're seeing on the earth right now and that you're probably seeing between you and your twin. I won't go too deep into it in this conversation, but in that particular video, I took a look at the chart for the United States for twins who happen to be here in the US, and why there are so many significant changes happening in the world of work and family, and pertaining money, or pertaining to money in particular as it pertains to twins based here in the US. So definitely have a look at that, because I think it's important to help you have some understanding about not just your journey, but the way the chessboard is moving as a whole, so you can locate where you and your twin are at in the constellation of movement going on right now, because there's a lot happening as we run up to 2020. And now I'm going to start to explain what that looks like specifically for twin flames. So in this video, I'm going to reference a table from Susan Miller's Astrology Zone. You'll see that here on the left, that talks about or maps all of the eclipses from, I think, 1944 through 2030 or something like that. Right now, we are in a Capricorn Cancer eclipse cycle that began middle of last year and rolls through 2020. And this is a divine preparation for the Sagittarius Gemini eclipse cycle, which is going to be particularly important for twin flames as Gemini governs the sign of the twins. And doing the work that you're really being called to do now is going to help you be in the right place at the right time as the 2020 Sag Gemini eclipses roll through. So let's get into what the preparation looks like and what some of the dates are. This eclipse cycle on the Capricorn Cancer axis began in 2018 with a solar eclipse here on July 12th, and that was at 20 degrees Cancer. We're going to look at some sample charts in a minute so that you can understand exactly what that might mean for you and or your twin. And these will be sample union charts, not sample divine femme, divine masculine charts. And this eclipse cycle really on the Capricorn Cancer axis, because Capricorn and Cancer govern work and family, are bringing transformations to the constellation and configuration of work and family for twin flames. If you and your twin have been struggling in the 3D world because of configurations having to do with their kids, your kids, a partner's children that either one or both of you have, uh, changes in work, and that then lead to changes in money, that then lead to changes in home. This is why. It's not just that the chess pieces are moving around on the board at this particular time. It's that the board is moving around while the chess pieces are moving. Eclipses are never singular. A lot of astrologers will talk about a singular eclipse and say, this eclipse means this or that. Eclipses do have individual meanings, but they're always meant to be understood as part of a cycle, part of a season, in a particular axis of every eclipse. So right now we've got a Cancer Capricorn axis going on, Cancer and Capricorn being opposites on the zodiac wheel. Cancer governing family and nurturing and the things we need to do to feed and take care and shelter ourselves. Capricorn being work ethic, tradition, and legacy, the ways we make that money that feed, shelter, and take care of ourselves and our families. With eclipses, solar eclipses being beginnings, lunar eclipses being endings, happening on that cycle or on that axis, we're in for a roller coaster ride of transformations in those areas. And because work and family are so integral to the way we feed, shelter, and house ourselves, make our money, and do our work in the world, this is, if you're looking for union today and you're in separation, let the dust clear on this eclipse cycle this year. Because what's happening is, as I said, the board is moving, the pieces are moving, and things as they look today, they're not going to be the way they look in another year or so. Not only that, but the transformation that you are going through as divine femme or divine masculine, no matter what your physical, biological gender is, the transformation that you personally are going through is preparing you for a state of being that's capable of handling the kind of connection that you have as a twin. Your whole life is being reconfigured to handle what it is you have as a twin. So let's get into the cycle, shall we? This cycle is really interesting because what's happening is it opens, pay attention here to where my cursor is, and what I'm pointing to in particular on the left side of your screen on this astrology zone table. It opens with a series of solar eclipses on that axis. Now, solar eclipses are known to bring beginnings. Lunar eclipses are known to bring completions or closing out of a particular cycle. With a solar eclipse here starting us off in 2018, July 12th, in 20 degrees Cancer, we had the opening of the divine changes. We moved further along down to the next solar eclipse on the Capricorn Cancer axis. On January 5th, this solar eclipse at 15 degrees Capricorn is the next step in that beginning. Then we have another solar eclipse in that beginning series. That's the one coming up here on July 2nd at 10 degrees Cancer. And finally, we've got a solar eclipse at 4 degrees Cancer on December 25th, at 4 degrees Capricorn, sorry. These back-to-back solar eclipses on that Capricorn Cancer axis, there are definitely wrap-ups here from the Aquarius Leo season. We're focused on the Cancer Capricorns right now. This would have been a divine tap on the shoulder, knock on the door, rap on the window that said, hey, here's something that you need to be doing in the world of work and family. Please go ahead and get started on this now. Please go ahead and begin on this today. Please follow this calling that you feel internally to make this next step happen. Because what then happens is we move into a series of lunar eclipses on the Capricorn Cancer axis. These lunar eclipses on this particular axis started this year in 2019, with the first lunar eclipse coming up here on the Capricorn Cancer axis here on July 16th at 24 degrees Capricorn. This will be the beginning of the endings. And the writing would have been on the wall for what needed to end. We're going to move into the next series of endings on this axis in 2020. January 10th, lunar eclipse, 19 degrees Capricorn. June 5th, lunar eclipse, 15 degrees Sagittarius. That'll be the beginning of the next cycle, endings for the next cycle. Then we've got the lunar eclipse on July 4th at 13 degrees Cancer. These lunar eclipses, so we've got July 16th, we've got January 10th, and then we've got July 4th on that Capricorn Cancer axis, are acting as two sides of a bridge. So we've got the new beginning on one side of the bridge with all of the solar eclipses that kicked us off. We've got the lunar eclipses on the other side of the bridge, the side of the bridge we're coming from, bringing closings. What this has been shown to me as is perhaps as you're crossing over this bridge, there's also a firebomb hitting the side you're meant to be leaving, destroying the bridge as you're crossing over it, so that once you get to the other side, there literally is no way to turn back. This particular eclipse cycle is going to be of consequential importance to people who are or have significant placements in cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, and people who have significant placements in water signs and earth signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. This is your time to get yourself very ready for what's to come for the next 12, 15 years of your life. If you feel confusion at this moment of time, or uncertainty about what's to come next, because I'm seeing that come up in my readings a lot. Twins who come in and they want to be with their twin, their life is in flux, their twin's life is in flux, and they have strong placements in any of the signs I just mentioned. This is why the chessboard is moving, the chess pieces are moving. You're meant to be getting to the other side of the bridge one step at a time, but it's almost like my astrology mentor, she kind of says, eclipses kind of act like a party where somebody shuts off the lights, moves around the furniture, takes out some people, moves in other people, and then cuts the light back on again in a couple weeks. There is meant to be confusion in the air, uncertainty in the air, so that you can tune in internally to the divine calling and the divine light that you have inside of you, moving you toward where you're meant to go and what you're meant to be doing. Both as twins and for yourself individually. So know that the clarity is going to come, but you need to keep taking the steps across that bridge toward where you're meant to be going. So again, if you're curious how this is playing out for you, how it's playing out for your twin, shoot me an email at chrysalismoon@gmail.com, krysalismoon@gmail.com. We'll go ahead and look at this for you guys so you can have a sense of, like, what are they doing and why are they behaving this way? Interestingly, some of the people I read for this week, this eclipse cycle forced one partner in the twin pair to create a completion or an ending, and it was 1000% appropriate because that particular twin was meant to be moving into a cycle of listening to themselves, closing out things that are unhealthy so that they could just focus on career moves that they needed to make and have fully in place, so that by the time the Gemini Sag eclipses come into place in 2020, they were ready. They were a ready conduit for the twin relationship. But if they tried to come into union now, it would have messed up the entire process. Another twin set that I read for this week or last week, it was just very clear that one twin in the set was used to having their way, and even manipulating to get it. And they were going through a divine wake up call about what it would mean to potentially not get their way anymore and to start working with life on life's terms to move toward the light bearer that they're meant to be in this lifetime, the way that they're meant to show people toward ways of living that honor who they really are. That's what this twin's meant to do. But instead of doing that, they were using a little bit of emotional manipulation, both with their twin and with the karmic, to keep both of them around. And that twin finally created an ending, which, put the person in the reading in great distress. However, it was 1000% appropriate. It meant that that twin was finally starting to honor structure, boundaries, commitments, and moving toward the self-sovereignty that didn't keep them in this place of just trying to always get their way. Completing the cycle of ending things that caused them lower vibrational behavior. Yeah, it meant, taking some time apart for the twin, but in becoming the person they're meant to be, they're actually setting themselves up for that divine opening for twins coming together in 2020 and 2021 through 2023. So know that it is different for every set of twins. And if you want to have a look at what this means for you in your particular union chart, just shoot me an email and we'll get into it. So in that original video that I just mentioned, the Capricorn Cancer Eclipses Divine Prep for 2020, I walked through each of these eclipses in 2019 on that Capricorn Cancer axis, and specifically what energy they bring to the table. From January 5th, July 2nd, July 16th, December 25th, I walked through the energy of each of these and what you could energetically expect to happen. I'm not going to review that here, but what I am going to do for this particular eclipse window, the July 16th eclipse window, I'm going to show you a couple of sample charts, sample union charts, so that you can get a sense of how this is really different for each twin. And you can definitely check out the other video if you want. So this particular lunar eclipse is happening, like I said, as part of a series. Let's see, July 16th, we've got 24 degrees Capricorn. That's right here. You see Moon and Earth sitting together in Capricorn. The energy of this one, actually, that's not the one I want to talk about, not July 16th. I want to talk about July 2nd. That's the next one here. Okay, here we go. July 2nd. July, what's the next one here? Yeah, July 2nd. 10 degrees. I might need to edit this chart. Let's see. Yeah, July 2nd is what that's meant to say. Oops. All right, here we go. July 2nd, 10 degrees Cancer. Here we go. Sun, Moon conjunction here. Interestingly, Sun, Moon are going into talking to this North Node in Cancer, this solar eclipse, and it's flanked by several benefics. So we've got 28 degrees Gemini, we've got Venus, we've got 3 degrees Leo, we've got Mercury, we've got Mars here at 0 degrees Leo. But this energy here there's an energy here of being pulled toward your instincts with this particular solar eclipse. Emotionally, being pulled toward your instincts. Take a look at this. Strong water in this chart, strong cardinality in this chart. This is an emotional pull to get it going. The earlier eclipse this year would have been an earthly pull, a physical world pull to get it going. This one is an emotional pull to get things going and keep things moving at 10 degrees Cancer. We've also got in this chart, look, the divine feminines here in Leo. With some energy of self-sovereignty conjunct Mercury, she's able to communicate. It definitely looks like the divine femme in the connection. Generally speaking, we're going to look at some sample charts momentarily. The divine femme is awake to the connection, and she's already moving towards self-sovereignty. Again, this is regardless of gender. We've got the divine masculine here, Jupiter out here in Sagittarius doing retrograde motion, headed back, I think, to about 14 degrees Sagittarius, and then we'll go forward again, looking for light within and doing what's required to reconstruct your life to be able to find that life within. So this is an interesting energy. So that's the energy of this solar eclipse. Let's get into looking at some sample charts. So I pulled 3, made up 3. I had to go through like 5 or 6 of them to make sure I was getting messages that were really going to resonate for everyone. Let's go ahead and start here with sample union chart 1, and let's plug in the date. So this particular union chart, this couple came together on 12/10/2015, had a little date at around 8:30, and we can see here in this sample union chart, we've got the divine masculine here conjunct the north node, which is kind of indicative in this pairing. Both of them are meant to be balancing out their divine masculine energy in this lifetime. We've got a divine feminine energy here conjunct Venus in Scorpio. This really lends itself to the two of them feeling quite at home in their divine feminine energy. And the divine feminine really being a magnetic pull in this connection. I really love that because, you know, anytime a twin flame pair goes through separation, and if you are a twin, you know what that's like. You've been through separation. It's always a part of the process because there's times for upgrading so that you can handle more of the energy of what the twin flame connection is. With this kind of energy, it's like home base is always the twin, always the divine feminine, always returning back to the divine feminine, no matter how long the separation is. So let's go ahead and look at this upcoming eclipse date for this pair, see what it looks like. New transit date. We are looking at July 2nd, so 7/2/2019. All right, so here we go. It's not the exact time, but we're close enough. This eclipse, solar eclipse, is happening out in their house of wish fulfillment. With Venus there at the same time, even though they're both kind of moving through this restructuring energy of needing to really clean up some past karma with some other humans who may have been inside the connection, this is really giving them an opportunity to have a new start together, if they so choose it. This is an opportunity for the two of them to perhaps just kind of see, at least taste, feel it in the air. Oh, this is what's really possible between us when we truly are being in our divine femme and divine masculine energies. Got it. Okay. This definitely looks like there's still perhaps a bit of separation with the divine feminine hidden here in the 12th house. A lot of 5D communication for the two of them, with Mercury and the divine feminine conjunct here in the 12th house of their union chart. They're probably doing a lot of dream time work together, dream time healing together. And with the divine masculine retrograding back toward their sun moon conjunction here in Sagittarius, I would definitely say this is a union window opening for this pair. They've got work to do, but the window is open for them to come together if they so choose it. So we'll see what they choose. I don't know. Let's look at the next sample chart. I hope they figure it out. There's always new union windows available, but you know what people do with them is free will. Free will being the trump card energy on planet Earth. If one or both of them is dealing with a karmic and deciding not to close out that cycle, then they will have to go with another union window at some time in the future. Sample chart, union window 2 for this eclipse date. Let's go ahead. This pair got together on March 30th, 2017 at 11 p.m. Let's just pretend they met at a late night at a bar. We can see that their north node here is in Virgo, and south node in Pisces. They're both meant to be moving toward greater discernment and greater wisdom about what they're doing in their career lives and where they're living, how they're traveling, all of that. A lot of it has to do with greater discernment about their communication, and being more intentional about their communication in this lifetime and what they're teaching to others, ways that they're doing that. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them, when they met, were married. Given the way this chart looks, I don't know why I'm saying that. Perhaps because Jupiter is out here in Libra, sign of partnership and wish fulfillment, most likely happily married when they met. And they got together, and this was a little bit of a lightning bolt. We see Sun coming toward movement here to Aries. Sun coming toward movement to Uranus in Aries. I wouldn't be surprised if this their connection hit them a little bit like a ton of bricks. Like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I wasn't planning on that. Especially because we have here Juno, partnership asteroid, coming to move into conjunction with Pluto. Some level of implosion to existing relationships for this pair looks like it is on the near horizon. Let's take a look at the eclipse date, see what they do with it. All right, so our eclipse date here is July 2nd, 7/2. Okay, so for these two in their union chart, this eclipse axis hits them on the second 8th house axis. Second 8th house is the house of resources, earned income, income given by others, money you can make by your own hand, money that is gifted to you by other hands. This is some level of transformation to their existing relationships that has a lot of financial ties to it. If one or both of them was already married, there's some level, in order for these two twins to come together, there's a lot of financial karmic cleanup that needs to get done for that to be even possible. And some tough lessons around money, resources, self-esteem, what they're building in this lifetime and what it means to them that they're having to learn in order to get to the place of union even being possible. We've got the divine feminine out here in Leo. Again, here she is in their 9th house, progressing toward their north node in Virgo in about another month or so. And again, divine femme looks awake. She looks visible in the connection, looks like they're in communication. And it looks like she's probably stepped into her leadership in the connection. She has stepped into what she's meant to be doing on some levels in the connection. As you know, the light work, you guys don't have to necessarily be together to be doing your light work. As soon as you got the initiation from the initial meeting and the unconditional love initiation, the work begins. So whether they're together or not, she looks like she's starting to do her work. We've got the divine masculine out here in the 1st house, preparing for his awakening, it looks like. With divine masculine in first house, it looks like he's coming to clarity about what the connection means to him, and who he is to her, and what it is he brings to her and to the connection, and who he is in his own life, and what he needs to be doing to make his own life move forward. So that's really neat to kind of see that his awakening has begun and he's in the process of moving toward what he needs to do as Jupiter moves into this configuration out here in Capricorn that I've been talking about all year. He's starting to get it. And he's already in progress toward making moves, toward allowing this to unfold between the two of them. So, yeah. We'll see how that unfolds as they move through this cycle, what they do with their free will. Will they be able to clean up the karma? Will they not? I don't know. We shall see what choices they make. All right, let's look at the final sample in the mix here. And again, if you want me to look at your union chart with your twin, just shoot me an email at chrysalismoon@gmail.com. And I'll walk you through what this looks like in your connection. In this particular chart, we've got, interestingly, the divine feminine conjunct the north node, making her the direction that this couple is meant to move toward. I think in the first chart, we had, let's just see, we had the divine masculine conjunct the north node. In this connection, the two of them are meant to be balancing divine feminine energies. Interestingly, this chart has a lot of earth and a lot of fixedness. These two are moving a lot slower. I guarantee you that they're moving a lot slower. Oh, look, I didn't even change the year on this one. This is how I make up these charts. They met in May of this year. They met in the last month. But yeah, there's a movement toward divine feminine energy. So to see where this is really going to go for them, we're actually going to have to let this play out a little bit more. But I don't know, just for fun, let's go ahead and progress to our transit date. What I like about this couple, let me just go ahead and share that real quick. Between the two of them, communication would have been on like Donkey Kong from the beginning. They probably met at work, with Sun and Mercury here in the 10th house, Taurus. They are both probably in some level of finance professions or something else having to do with the physical body and making decent money. With Taurus being, all about money, Capricorn here in their 5th house of creative offspring also being all about money. These two are probably financially okay in life. And yeah, it kind of makes sense then that they might need to develop their divine feminine and intuitive capacities with the North Node here in the 12th house of intuition. Because it looks like in the physical world, as a pair, they're kind of set. They're handled. They're learning some stuff. They're getting some karmic lessons, but financially, they look all right. Okay, let's dig into this new, I want to see what the eclipse looks like on July 2nd. It's not going to be that far in advance, but let's just play along with it. Let's just go along with it. See what it looks like. Yeah. Not much has changed. The divine feminine energy has moved into a hidden aspect of the chart. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some level of early level triggering that's going on between the two of them, given that they just met, where they sense the connection. It's out here in the house of wish fulfillment, the sun-moon conjunction. They feel it. At 10 degrees Cancer, they're like, oh, what is that with that human that I just met? This is big. What am I supposed to do with it? Because I have this whole other life that may or may not include this human, that I'm in the middle of working on. You can see the divine masculine hasn't moved much. He's continued his retrograde motion back through Sagittarius. The divine feminine hasn't moved that much either. She's now fully in the 12th house. There's probably some level of psychic stuff going on for the two of them, dream world stuff, where they're kind of going, okay, we've met in the 3D world. Are we doing this? Are we not doing this? What's it going to take for you? What's it going to take for you? All right, let's decide if we're moving forward together or not. They're probably in some level of initiation right now as they figure out why this person that they literally just met is still on their mind. So that's what I got on the sample union charts. I am really giggling at myself for not changing the year, but hey, who knows? Maybe you just met your twin and you're like, is this my twin or not? How can I tell? If you are curious about how all of this plays out in your particular chart, please book a reading with me. I'd love to read for you and your twin. Just hit me up at chrysalismoon.com. You'll get an autoresponder with how to book, and I'll read your personal email and respond to it, answering any of your questions. And if you go ahead and you book using the instructions in the autoresponder, within the next couple of hours, because I get notifications anytime someone pays, I'll send you your scheduling link so that you can go ahead and get scheduled for some time this week or next week. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. It means so much to me that the guidance is useful to you. If you have any questions or feel free to share, free enough to share what's going on in your connection in the comments, it's always helpful for all of us who are on the twin journey to understand how not alone we are. So thank you for sharing in the comments as well. I'll see you in the next video.